Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your Energy Booster podcast. I'm your show host, Chinese Padilla, and today we are exploring a transformative idea of being fearless is the key to living life to the fullest. Well, fear takes many forms. In my previous episodes, I've been talking about overcoming fear a lot. There's this fear of failure, which stops us from trying new things and making us get stuck because we don't want to explore and, do something new. Or even if we are afraid of failing, we won't even be open to other opportunities or the many opportunities in life. Sometimes the blessing is just, or the opportunity is just before us, or it's just in front of us. But then we are too afraid because we don't want to fail. You see, failure is normal. If you don't fail, means you don't do or you don't try doing anything. Then there's the fear of rejection, which makes us hide our true self. You see, most of the time we are seeking for other people's approval or acceptance. And, when we do that, we are hiding our true selves, or, we're not becoming authentic. And so each one of us is designed uniquely by our creator. And if we don't show who we really are, and if we don't have, the strength to become who we really are, then who are we? Who are we? Or who are you? If we keep on trying to please other people and, you know, then what do we stand for? What are our values? What are our beliefs? What are our principles in life? We can't just be all over the place pretending who we are not. Otherwise, we won't be happy. And, there's fear of rejection, especially when, you are a business person or entrepreneur and you wanted to grow your business, but then you never want to hear no from your customers, then your business will not really grow. So if we face this fear of rejection, we become limitless. And, this life will be full of adventures. And we can truly be happy because we don't care what other people will say. Instead, we show them to who or as who we really are. And of course, let's not forget the fear of the unknown, which is holding us back from God's plans. Wow. Yeah, we're too afraid what is next when we try something new. We just want to stay inside of our comfort zone because we're too afraid to step on to what is or what we don't know yet. You see, sometimes God will talk to us through other people, and they will say something like, you have the potential to do this. Um, you have the talent, you have the gifts to do this and that. And yet we don't want to do it because we thought we couldn't, because we haven't done it yet. And so, God designed us, and each one of us has our own unique talents and gifts. And so, if we don't explore it because we don't know yet on what will be the result if we do it, then we will never know. And then what's going to happen? We end up into this, we end this life without even knowing what we could have done. And when we get to heaven, of course, God will ask us, what did you do with what I have given you? And my friend, I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to say, or I want, you know, for you to hear God telling you, well done, good and faithful servant. You have shared what I have given you, and you have explored and get even better in doing it. So I am proud of you. In 1 Samuel 17, David didn't let fear stop him from facing Goliath. You see, that was really a wow story. He trusted God, and his faith led him to victory. So I want you to think about or think about the fears you're facing right now. I know God is telling you something, and yet you don't want to take action in it because you're too afraid of failure, of rejection, or of what is not certain. So I want to ask you, what's holding you back? If it's just fear, then I want you to overcome. I want to help you overcome that fear. I remember last year, I've already said or told this story before, but to those who haven't heard about it yet, I really tested my fear. Not just, I know that most of the time fear is just in our mind. That's why we need to guard our thoughts. And last year I tested my fear. Like, not just the fear in my mind, but, the fear that I will really experience physically. So I did skydiving, and it was the most liberating moment in my life after I did it, or that moment that I did it. It was tandem, but of course, still, it was not easy. Like it was so uncertain. Like I didn't know if we would fail. I didn't know if, you know, I didn't know. I mean, but this thing I realized, either you're healthy or not, either you're capable or not, we are just in the same fight every day. Life is uncertain. You just walk on the street and car hit you and you die. You can just sleep and not wake up. Or you can be in your deathbed and not be able to make it. Like We are sharing the same chance every day, not because you are very sick and the doctor told you that you only have few months to live, then I have an advantage over you because I would be thinking that I can live longer than you. I don't know. So that's the fear of the unknown. So when that moment that we jump off that plane and I just let go. And I just thought that God was with me. That if it was already my moment, then it will be. And God will take care of my family and everything that I love because everything that I have is His. So I let go and I enjoyed that very moment. And yeah, that was the fear that was just not in my mind, but the fear that I really experienced physically and I overcame it. And after that, I'm just thinking, what else could I not do? What else could I fear? Maybe the fear of not going to heaven after I die. But yeah, everybody should fear that. All right. So let me just tell you that overcoming these fears is a journey. It doesn't go away right there and then. Isaiah 41:10 reminds us that reminds us not to fear, for I am with you. It says, do not fear, for I am with you. God is with you. To combat the fear of failure, try seeing failures as steps to success. Because you will never succeed if you don't fail. Because failures are lessons, failures are just part of our lives. I said it earlier and I will say it again. If you don't fail, then you're not doing anything. Facing the fear of rejection involves embracing your unique self, knowing that you are wonderfully made. It's okay if people do not understand you. It's okay if they don't approve of you. I want you to live in the audience of one. We are here to just care of what God will say about us. And when we know that we are accepted, that we are worthy, and we are enough in the eyes of our Creator, then we are okay. He said, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So, what are you worried of? You are okay. You are perfectly made. You are enough. You are worthy. You are accepted. And lastly, when dealing with fear of the unknown, trust that God has a plan for you, plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope and a future. So, by confronting our fears, we unlock a life full of potential. Just like Peter walking on water. Is a testament to the extraordinary things that can happen when we step out in faith. Can you imagine the doors that could open for you when you choose faith over fear? Proverbs 19:21 says, many are the plans in the person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. We are to be faithful to God because He is faithful to us every day. Say, example, the story of Abraham, which demonstrates the importance of faithfulness. Abraham and his wife Sarah struggled to trust God. You remember this story? It's a very famous story. But they learned the value of faithfulness when they submitted to Him. They waited many years for God to fulfill His promise of giving them a son. Yeah, sometimes we are losing our faith because we don't want to wait. We want our blessing instantly, like right now. We don't want to go through the process. We don't want to learn the lessons. We just want a blessing. We just want the result right away. We just want to experience the blessing or the promise of God right away. And so, because of her lack of faith, Sarah insisted upon Hagar, her maid, giving birth to her son. This resulted in pain and conflict. See, when we fail to trust God, it will just lead us to another problem. However, when Abraham and Sarah put their faith in God, Sarah was able to give birth to Isaac, the promised son, despite being past childbearing age. I think, it took time before God delivered the promise because they failed the test of, of faith. They didn't really trust God. They didn't believe. They laughed at him, at God, when God told them that you're gonna have a son. You will be the father of the many nations. Because hello, um, Abram and Sarah at that time were already at their old age and they don't have any children. So how could he be the father of many nations? Ultimately, the story of Abraham shows how God blesses those who are faithful and trust his plans. So, how do we grow in our faithfulness and be fearless? We can grow in our faithfulness by having a personal relationship with Christ, who we just have to be closer, to be intimate with our Creator. If we are truly faithful to Him, we obey His commands. When He say wait, we have to wait. My challenge to you is this. Think about the ways you show your faithfulness to God. Are there things that are getting in the way of your faithfulness? What are the areas in your life or of your life have you not given over Him and you still want to take control over with? Remember, being fearless means having the courage to face fear with faith. Faith is the opposite of fear. If you're being fearful, then you are being faithless. When you don't have faith in God, you don't believe in His power and in His existence. Hold on to Timothy or Second Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I hope this verse is your shield against fear. Why don't you share with us how you're overcoming your fears and stepping into a bold, faith filled life? Let's inspire each other with stories of courage and trust. You can comment on this episode on Facebook, on YouTube, or wherever you are hearing or getting this podcast. Thank you for joining me. May this week be a journey of conquering fears and embracing the fullness of life God intends for you and for me. Until next time, stay faithful and be fearless. I love you and God bless.